Hello Dumaguete, hello Negros Oriental, and hello Sillimanians around the world. This is Joshua Soldivillo, and you are watching #Silliman. For Silliman updates, the core team of the Silliman University Alternative Learning System Education and Skills Training, together with its partners from the Development Academy of the Philippines, conducted site visits last April 30 at two of the project's learning centers, Apo Island High School, Apo Island Dawin, and Sumaliring Elementary School, Chateau Negros Oriental. Vice President for Academic Affairs, Earl Jude Paul Cleope, College of Education Dean Gina Bunyor, Associate Dean Myla June Patron, and Assistant Professor Joshua Soldivillo represented Silliman University. The beneficiaries of the project are full-time workers, parents, and some are out-of-school youth. The project is supported by the Department of Education. In other news, starting this month of May, the Silliman University Institute of Rehabilitative Sciences free physical therapy clinic will be open only on Mondays to Fridays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The free physical therapy clinic is open for the underprivileged, low-income citizens of Dumaguete City and neighboring towns in Negros Oriental. For more information, you may visit their Facebook page, IRS Free PT Clinic. The Silliman University Government Affairs or SUGA Center, under the School of Public Affairs and Governance, is engaged as technical assistance provider to Department of Health CVCHD in Technical Assistance Package. The pool of experts that led the April 2022 sessions conducted at Plaza Maria Suites Inn were Dr. Ferdinand M. Magibin, Assistant Professor of Philia Ragpa, Dr. Evelyn E. Abalos, Assistant Professor Joshua Soldivillo, Dr. Maria Teresa Belsinia, and Dr. Edwin Cobelo. The overall objective is to improve health outcomes in Central Visayas through capacitating its personnel and providing tools and techniques to DOH CVCHD core team, development management officers, and local government units. See you next week for another set of Silliman updates. This is a program initiated to discuss matters concerning the campus by the sea. You're watching #Silliman. Good evening to everyone, especially to Sillimanians and friends of Silliman around the world. Thank you for choosing #Silliman as your Monday night habit. Today is May 9, 2022, a historic day for the Republic of the Philippines as we elect the new president, vice president, senators, congressmen, city councilors, mayors, and other local positions. Hearing the platforms of our aspiring candidates, one of the fundamental issues that they'd like to address is our healthcare system. And evidently, the pandemic revealed that our healthcare system has been weak, poor, and vulnerable. Joining us tonight are the prime movers of the Silliman University Medical School, and we'll be engaging them in a discussion about what does it take to become a medical doctor and to be part of the medical community. Allow me to introduce first the Silliman University Medical School Administrative Faculty. We have Dr. Jennifer V. Barimbao. Doc, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, everybody. Hello.
And we have also the Dean of the Silliman University Medical School. We have Dr. Walden Ursos. Doc, good evening. Mayong gabi. Welcome to the program.
Mayong gabi sa tanan, and thank you for having us.
So let's start and get the ball rolling, docs, if I may. So we have already significant decrease in the number of cases as far as COVID-19 is concerned. So as the chief of the university's NCOV task force, Dr. Ursos, what is your overall evaluation with respect to our readiness when it comes to a face-to-face mode of instruction?
Yes. Now, we all know that we are really just dependent on the declaration of our IATF as far as the level of risk in being exposed to the COVID-19 infection. So, right now, we are at level 2, which as far as the Commission on Higher Education is concerned, we've been granted the authority to have limited face-to-face classes as early as last year for the allied sciences.
Right.
So if you know, the medical school, the College of Nursing, the medtechs and the PT had already started for the past school year, having a limited face-to-face classes. No, so when we say limited, we ask an authority that we can bring our interns to the hospital,
Right.
and especially our graduating class and the seniors, and those who have laboratory exposure or needs the skills now learning for our laboratories, the one that is really given the priority for CHED to have a limited face-to-face classes. So that's why most of our students in the allied programs, allied science programs, are given that authority. Now, when there was a decrease already in the
Right.
Incidents
Yeah,
of
thanks God,
COVID,
no?
yeah, and we just hope that this will continue. Although we are bracing because we still have to have our national election,
Yeah.
we might have a surge after the election. So if this will go on, we are already given a blanket authority by CHED for Silliman University to start a limited face-to-face classes even with those non-allied
Right.
colleges. So the other colleges are, during our Dean's Conference, the other academic colleges were given the liberty to decide.
To choose which courses are...
Yes, and what these courses, are they willing?
Okay.
No, because you have to ask your faculty, you have to
Right.
ask your students. So, are they really willing to
Hold it
engage
face-to-face.
no, a limited face-to-face? And true enough, there are already quite a number of colleges. So we have, of course, pharmacy.
Yeah.
We started with pharmacy. We have nutrition and dietetics. We already have the major sciences in the arts and sciences like biology. Chemistry, psychology, and physics, and chemistry. And then, of course, CBA is readying also. They're complying the requirements. Engineering, I'm even scheduled to inspect engineering by next week.
Okay.
And of course, the greatest challenge that we are going to have is for the School of Basic Education.
Okay, the K-12 learners,
yes,
right?
for the senior high and the elementary. And it was planned we will start with the senior high and probably grade
And
6.
then going down.
Yeah, and gradually, because I proposed that during our meeting with the crisis committee that we cannot really have this at one time.
Yeah.
Because we will be overwhelmed.
Right.
No, and we can have unnecessary exposure. So, safety first is the very important thing that we have to observe. So we just do this in a gradual manner.
So
Yeah.
I believe our parents are also excited and looking
Yeah,
forward
that's true.
to
That's true.
the finalization of these details.
Yeah.
No? So speaking
Dr.
of...
Barimbao is a parent herself. She's
Yeah.
excited. she has students in the elementary.
Wow,
Yeah.
let's also try to know her take on that later on. But Dr. Ursos, you've mentioned that Silliman University Medical School is one of the academic units that really did the pilot for a face-to-face, limited face-to-face instruction.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you, Doc, how about when it comes to the migration process from face-to-face to the online distance learning, especially that we are talking about here in the context of medical school, which is, I believe, very hands-on. It will really require laboratory activity. So how was the experience, Doc?
It was a bit of a challenge because most of our faculty were used to having discussions with the students in a classroom. And when, being doctors and also having to go through certain changes in their practice and doing conventions online because of the COVID pandemic, they were also prepared to do classes online. It was not difficult for them to do it remotely, but the method of doing it without students as an audience is quite different for them. So at first we had several meetings on how to do the activity as the discussion pertains to their subject, and we had to modify a lot of activities that will fit that will fit the schedule that we have. And also, not so much of a deviation from the normal. Because they tend to, what was different was that the faculty was lecturing outside of the classroom, but then they were also doing it the same way as before. It's no different, except they were separated from
The
being
mode of instruction.
being physical.
Right. So
That's
what do you think are the major challenges, and if I may add, what are the opportunities that the online distance learning setup actually revealed and showed to us?
The challenges was firstly when evaluation comes.
Right.
So examination was quite. It was not difficult to give out as the instructions were already on Soul. It was the checking of how they're doing it, if they're honestly doing it according to what's supposed to be an evaluation of what they've learned honestly. And when opportunities was when the faculty was more able to interact even remotely, because they can have it in the comforts of their homes.
Right.
When they do discussions, or when they want to discuss with the small group or the big class after office hours. So
in other words, it became more flexible.
Yes, flexible
for our
and
faculty, for us and for our students.
They were able to adapt as well.
Right.
So the opportunity was there, that they were adaptable to situations.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point there. How about you, Dr. Ursos? What do you think is ODL here for medical school? Is it here to stay?
Yes, actually, before COVID pandemic, many international schools are already doing or implementing online distant learning. So for me, when the pandemic came, we were really without a choice. We really have to adapt and face the challenge of having a flexible learning approach. So this is now a combination of a limited face-to-face and the online distant learning. And we're really happy and thankful that the university has provided us with a learning management system, which is our Soul. So we trained our faculty to deal with Soul, to be with Soul, and to do the teaching, the examination, the evaluation. But for me as a dean, this flexible learning system has to stay.
Okay.
With or without COVID, even though COVID will be over,
Hopefully,
or COVID
soon.
will continue in a milder form,
Right.
ODL has to stay, because it is already our option. No? With our busy schedule, we can always flex.
Right.
No, so if we cannot be with our students because of an emergency or whatever valid reason, we can just upload a pre-recorded lecture or do the asynchronous. And then if we can really spend time with them face-to-face, then we'll face them face-to-face.
So you get to maximize the perks.
Yeah,
of
so
having
ODL has
technology.
to be part already of the teaching system
Right.
of a university.
Okay. So before we're going to pause for a short break, I'm going to share the question. Dr. Ursos and Dr. Jen, what do you think are the common misconceptions of being a medical student or even being a medical doctor? I heard that doctors are rich. Is this true? We'll learn about that after we pause for a short break. Welcome back, everybody. Still with us are our friends from Silliman University Medical School. So before we pause for a short break, Doc, I ask you about the common misconceptions of being medical doctors or even students of the School of Medicine. So is it true, Doc Ursos, that doctors are rich?
Well, depending on the perspective and how you
How
gauge
about you, Doc?
richness. And I think I can say, honestly, I'm the poorest doctor in Negros
I thought you would
Oriental.
say I'm the richest doctor.
I'm the poorest. I'm just rich in size, but, but not in the pocket. So anyway, jokingly aside, richness to me is not because we train our students that the medical profession is really for service. No?
Right.
But it is your right to get yourself rich with your profession. Just thinking of the investment that your parents have spent, no, just for you to get the education, paying the tuition fee and all the gadgets, it's really an investment. So we cannot really blame them, or some of them wants to be rich. But with the kind of curriculum that we're having and envision for Silliman University, which is we embodied the competence, character, and faith with the 5 C's of Silliman.
Right.
And we really inculcate in our students, especially for the next generation, that being a physician is not to be rich. It's just a secondary consideration, but it's really to serve
For the service.
to those who need help. No?
How about you, Doc Jen?
The misconception?
Yeah.
Yeah. For the misconception of being a doctor, having maybe a successful career, at the onset you won't be, because
Okay.
you will be at the mercy of your seniors, like your consultants. You have to learn, and probably one of them is when you're done, you're being a doctor already, or have passed the board exams, you're already done. No, you'll still be study. Katong the one that shows the bata study
Right.
gihapon. It's true until around when you decide to retire. And one more misconception is when you become a doctor, you're your own boss. No, you're not. You will be at the mercy of calls. For example, direct consult by your patients who have been close to you and
Right.
who has your personal number, then they will call you at odd hours of the day or night. And when you're called to the hospital, it's off hours already, but you have to answer. And yes, to be a doctor, you have to be altruistic in nature. So you won't be burdened by the work itself.
So there
Burnt
a
out.
deep sense of altruism, I should say. And given the point of Dr. Ursos earlier about being of service to others, diba? Going to our academic program in the medical school, Dr. Ursos and Dr. Jen, I believe we have a quite good reputation. In fact, we rank as part of the high-ranking medical school in the university as well as in Asia. And is there a stringent screening? If, for example, I would like to be part of the medical school, what are the admission requirements? Do I need to take an entrance examination? Can you talk about it, Dr. Jen?
In our website, in the university's website, there is a link that will direct you to the list of requirements. But basically, for one to be admitted to the SUMS, the Silliman University Medical School, you have to have an average of 85 for your QPA, and you have to get an NMAT score of 60 and above.
For the information of everyone, NMAT is...
It's like a national medical
Admission.
Admission
test.
test.
It is they have a website where there's a schedule of exams that you have to apply.
It's a
You have to
requirement
take
of
it.
CHED.
You have
Okay.
to take it before applying in a medical school. Any medical school in the Philippines, even foreigners have to do that
Oh,
also.
okay.
Yeah, to be admitted to a school in the Philippines.
Alright.
And medical exams for when they are admitted, when their application and the interview is already approved, then they have to to submit themselves to a medical exam, and psychiatric also is already part of the requirement. And what else?
Is there any specific pre-med course
Oh.
or any course will do?
Oh no, it just says so that there's a Bachelor of Science.
Okay.
So any 4
It's
year
a baccalaureate degree, so it should be a 4-year course.
4-year
Okay.
course.
Major in science.
So that's the NMAT now. I think everything is also available in our website. That's www.su.edu.ph. So Dr. Ursos, given these requirements, and of course we have our own way to ensure the quality of our students, what do you think is the unique, or let's say the distinguishing characteristic of a Silliman University Medical School graduate?
Okay. From the very start, from the time we screen our applicants and once they're accepted and they go through the 4 years of the basic medical education, we really imbibe the heritage and the vision, mission, and goals of Silliman University. And to put it in a nutshell, we also train our medical students to develop that whole person education.
Right.
And even CHED and the Association of Philippine Medical Colleges, which is the body that maintains the quality of education of all medical schools, they also imbibe this concept of the 5 C's. So you have to be, when you say whole person, then the all aspect of your life should be developed, and it's geared toward giving a Christian health service to your fellow men. So, as what Dr. Barimbao said, you have to be altruistic,
Yeah.
but you have also to balance it. So, we were able to achieve that in our graduates. So, that's why we have now the outcome-based education. The strategy of teaching that we adopted is a hybrid. We call it problem-based learning.
Right.
But it is also what jive with the outcome-based education. So, let's say we want to produce physicians in the future, 10, 20 years from now, that we can really be proud of that they're Sillimanians.
Right.
Okay, so just what we are all Sillimanians here, so we have that heritage, which we call the Silliman spirit. Okay, wherever we go, we meet a Sillimanian, there is that spirit and camaraderie and
There's an automatic connection.
yeah, a bond.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what we want to develop for our students. So, if we can look at our footage of our activities, which our technical group will show it now, that's how we develop holistically of our students. So when we say we are distinct, because we have that.
Okay.
But I am not also saying that that is not in other school.
Yeah.
But it's how we inculcate and grow, mold our students
sure.
to become proud Sillimanians in the future.
Right. So, as Sillimanians, no, in our graduate outcomes, Sillimanians are effective communicator, a transformative Christian witness, a lifelong independent learner, a creative
Yes,
critical thinker.
yes.
And I'm sure no, that our faculty at SUMS are doing their best to offer that. Speaking of holistic and being able to strike the balance, Doc Jennifer, in the medical school, I'm sure it's a very, say, serious, in-depth, comprehensive kind of schooling that you do there, right? How do you also strike the balance? How about the movie nights, the eating outs,
Okay.
you know?
Before COVID came and disrupted everything, the distinct quality of SAMS, because I'm not from SAMS.
Okay.
I graduated from another school, and which was not in our school or
All
in
of us did not graduate from
all other schools. The distinct quality was when they had this variety show. There was the showcase of talents of students, which when in a course that's very serious, they tend to suppress the talents. But here in SAMS, they tend to show it off.
Wow.
Or when they're asked to, then mutayada,
Right.
tayada of the talents. That was when COVID came. But they were creative. The students were creative. So they did their variety show online. But then the students, also noticed that the students also had social life, even if they are told not to do socials. But then we tend to see from the social media. So, but I guess they get to balance.
They find their ways.
They
And I
find
think
their ways.
one of the most active organizations in student government is our Silliman
Yes,
University Medical School Association, right?
Student Association. We call it SUMSA.
SUMSA, yeah.
And for the past 10 to 15 years, the advisor of SUMSA is my partner, wife, Dr. Maria Lourdes Ursos. And she's like a mother who trained the students
Yeah.
to really develop them outside the classroom.
Right.
So
Very
we,
important.
we, not just their intelligence, but also their, we call it their emotional stability and the psychological, the mental health. So we let them do certain activities, and you can just see our footage, the different activities, and this is being guided. So one also reason why our students become this thing, and in our students, we are the #1 student association in Silliman. We
Yeah.
are also one of the top 10 of the whole Philippines as far as medical school is concerned. So this is by the guidance of the advisor, guidance of the dean, and of course our faculty members. So it is a
Concerted effort.
concerted effort.
Teamwork, so to speak.
Yes, and we are really distinct. Pag we go to other schools, we have this annual convention of the APMC student network. When we say the delegates come from Silliman, we are really a contingent to.
Okay.
They are not
to-
shy to show
Ang
their
mga Silliman way
talents.
ulaw.
Tayada, Judayan.
Tayada.
Natap
and
Silliman.
they're really a threat to other schools.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ursos and Dr. Jennifer. I think we have come to the last minutes of our episode tonight. So please invite our interested students who wish to become part of the medical community, who wish to become part of our medical frontliners. So few words. Let's start with Dr. Jen first.
Okay. Visit the website and you will see the requirements. But make sure to submit all requirements, our applications, before June 30. That's our last day or deadline for
We're
our
open
admissions.
now, so you can apply
So
anytime.
be part of Silliman and be part of the #1.
Yeah, be #1 in Silliman. Dr. Ursos, would you like to add some words?
Yeah, I have another qualification to tell our prospective applicants.
This sounds interesting.
Okay, so it's not just the grade, it's not just the INMAT, but also your EQ and your mental stability. Because as a dean, I have to share this, that we have also experiences that some of our students really had to go through the rigors and the challenges in the medical education, and some really had developed some anxiety and mental health has affected their mental health. Although not to the point of being a psychiatric patient, but they have to be given a mental health support. So we are thankful that the university gave us the guidance counselor, and some also of our consultants are also psychiatrists. So we help each other. Really, it's like a shepherd tending the flock.
Yeah.
And these are the subset of students that needs emotional and mental support.
Right.
Okay, so if you decide to become a physician in the future, it's really your ambition to become a doctor. It's really your own personal ambition and commitment. So most often than not, although I'm not discouraging the parents or even our applicants, but most often than not, a student forced by the parents to study medicine, even though they don't really commit to it or they don't love it or it's not their first choice, will really have a difficult time going through it. But they just able to sustain because they love their parents. But even my daughter, myself, I did not force her to go to medicine because she has her own talent and is her own she has her own direction as far as profession is concerned. So
In other words, there
we
must
did
be
support
like a true calling
Yeah,
for the medical
yeah.
profession.
So, but if it's really your personal ambition, like myself, it's really my personal ambition no matter what. I'm a son of a church minister of UCCP. Unsa ko igastong tuition fee ang pastor as far as their salary is concerned. But I tried my best finding a scholarship.
Yeah.
Oh, basta para lang madoktor ko. But that's how it is. No? That's life. So we are not treading on a carpet here. We are treading on a bumpy road and a narrow road. But it's a matter of determination, perseverance, commitment. No? That's very important. Commitment and be resilient in whatever you encounter, obstacles and hindrances. And of course, number one is your faith in God.
Amen.
So that's all. That's a qualification that cannot be printed on our
Right.
in our website.
Thank you for that
Yeah.
message, Dr. Ursos, and thank you again, Dr. Jennifer. But before we let you go, we're going to engage you in a fast talk. Okay?
Sure.
I'll just have to answer directly what comes to mind. Let's start with Dr. Ursos. Dr. Ursos, cheese bread or baked siopaw?
Bake show pa.
Dr. Jen, night or day?
Night.
Dr. Ursos, sleep or food?
Food.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Best spot in Silliman University?
My office.
Favorite color, Dr. Jen?
Red.
Acacia or ilang-ilang?
Acacia, of course.
Dr. Jen, face-to-face or virtual?
Face to face.
Dr. Ursos, first thing you do in the morning?
Eat.
Dr. Jen, last thing you do before sleeping?
Check my emails.
Best time to study, Doc?
Anytime.
Advice you can give to all singles?
Oh, enjoy being single while it lasts.
Dr. Ursos, complete the statement. Silliman University Medical School is?
A blessing to the university and to all who aspire to become physicians.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Dr. Ursos and Dr. Jen. And we had a very light conversation, fun conversation, I should say, tonight. And we have come to the last segment of the show. It's called hashtag WTP Word to Ponder. Unfortunately, my partner Ronelyn is not able to be here tonight. But I think the word to ponder for me is really competence. Given the discipline, given the rigor that you have mentioned, and not only on the intellectual, but as well as in the emotional competence, no, that you really have to have that stability. And you just have to continue to learn. You have to strive harder all the time, essentially because you cannot give what you don't have. You can only give as much as you have. And to be of better service to the others, you have to be competent. You have to strive for competence, for excellence. And as we end this episode, let's reflect on the words of Maya Angelou. She said that you do better if you know better. Thank you very much, everyone, and to God be the glory.
Amen.
Hey there, Sillimanians! Daghang salamat for joining and watching hashtag Silliman tonight. Don't forget to follow our social media accounts. On Facebook, it's called hashtag Silliman. And don't forget to click the notification button of our YouTube channel. It's called hashtag Silliman. Also, continue to watch us on Field Products Channel 6 every Monday, 8 p.m. Replays are Tuesday before the noontime news and every Saturday after the noontime news. This has been Joshua Soldivillo. See you next week only here on hashtag Silliman. Congrats to all winners!